Alright, so I'm sure we all have that friend, music buff, who somehow has an iPod or an iPhone just full of all the latest and greatest music, but somehow still has money in their bank account. Well, this person is probably going to measures that would be frowned upon by the government and the record companies to obtain their tunes. And look, I understand, we're all college students, we all live on a budget, and free stuff is good stuff, but today I'm going to tell you about why you should buy your music and why you should buy it directly from the artists. And I will be going over the consequences of music piracy, why you should support these artists as directly as possible, and a website that will allow you to do so. But before I go over those consequences, I should just give some brief examples of what is meant by piracy. Basically just uploading or downloading music from file sharing networks such as LimeWire is considered piracy, and also downloading movies from the internet. Basically just downloading and watching anything that you didn't pay for and has a copyright on it. By doing that, you're violating copyright laws, and the punishments for doing that are very steep. According to the RIAA, the Recording Industry Association of America, penalties for first-time offenders can be up to $250,000 and even up to 5 years in jail. And on top of that, the copyright holders can sue you for up to $150,000 per song that's been illegally downloaded or distributed. So these are pretty severe punishments, and I personally think that the benefits of saving some scratch and getting all your tunes for free is not worth having to deal with all the stress that comes along with all those fines and legal fees and maybe even going to jail for 5 years. And fear is a pretty powerful motivating factor in any situation, but in this one, it's not the only reason why you should be buying your music instead of illegally downloading it. And it goes beyond just blindly obeying the law because it's there. These musicians, these people who are creating this art for you to enjoy, they have a skill and a certain set of abilities, and they're creating things for their fans to enjoy, and they should be reimbursed for doing so. And I think it's important for people who are fans of this work to support their favorite artists by honestly paying for it. And, you know, it boils down to something that we claim to be pretty fond of here in America, these like capitalist ideals. These people have skills and abilities, and they use it to create something for people to enjoy it, and they should be rewarded for that if they're going to invest their time in it. And if you enjoy something enough to have it in your own personal collection, you should be willing to pay for it. And you should reimburse them so that they can keep doing what they're doing, which is creating music for the fans. And so many artists use a service called Bandcamp. It's a website, which I'm going to go over in just a few minutes. But also artists will provide their music for download or for they can sell physical or digital copies through their own websites, and by doing that, you don't have to go through iTunes or you don't have to go through Barnes & Noble or anything. You can buy it directly from them. And doing this is, I think, is one of the more genuine ways of acquiring your music because you're supporting the artists in doing what they're doing, which is creating something that they want to hear and that the fans want to hear. And being a fan of a band or a DJ or any kind of artist, it's a two-way street. They're making something because they want to create it, and you're listening to something because you want to listen to it. And Bandcamp.com is a very cool website that helps facilitate this two-way street. And here's how it works. It's free to sign up. You get your own little page. You can upload graphics. It's free to upload all your music. You can customize the colors and the layout and everything. And artists can upload their music for download, and they can also sell physical copies through the website. And they get to name their own price. A lot of artists will put up an album for download and let the fans choose how much they want to pay for it. And oftentimes fans will pay $1 for a whole album, or sometimes they'll pay full price for it. It's up to you. You can pay however much you want for it, but at least the money is going straight to the artist. And so purchases made on the band's page, it goes straight into the band's PayPal account. And the website makes its share of the profits just from a simple 15% take in from whatever the band sells on the website. And once you sell $5,000 worth of music, that rate actually drops to 10%. So artists are rewarded for pushing more music. And here's a good explanation from the website's frequently asked questions page. So say you're at the 10% rate and you sell an album for $10. All $10 of that sale goes straight to you. But your revenue share balance, the amount you owe Bandcamp, is now $1. Then you sell another album for $10. All 10 of that sale goes straight to you. But your balance is now $2. You keep selling $10 albums, and those sales keep going to you. However, upon the sale of your 10th $10 album, your balance has reached $10, so that sale, and only that sale, goes to Bandcamp, and your balance is reset to 0. So basically, you sell 10 albums for $10, the 10th sale, all that money just goes to the website. All the rest goes to you. And the artists who use this service have really great things to say about it as well. Here's a quote taken from the testimonial page of the website from a ukulele player named Amanda Palmer, who sells her music through the website. I've always tried to be as directly connected with fans as possible, but until you guys came along, the infrastructure was just much more difficult. Bandcamp brings the whole picture together into a lovely package that not only works, but works well. Me and my team made more in one night than I've seen to date for my 2008 major label album release. And in conclusion, I would just strongly urge you guys that if you find an artist you like, to buy the music directly from them, or if they have a Bandcamp page, to do that. Because for one thing, you're avoiding harsh penalties, harsh legal fees, and lawsuits, and even potential jail time. But as I mentioned earlier, you're doing something really genuine in helping support this art that you've grown fond of. Thank you.
So, Brianna, what did you think?
I think his topic was very effective. He targeted a friend in the beginning, which kind of got me involved in what he was talking about. I think what's very effective is that he explains what piracy is and what that website was instead of going through iTunes or something else where you can charge full price. I think that whatever you want to donate for their music is very interesting. His delivery was good. He seemed calm and he had a good tone in his voice and his gestures were good. For improvements, I think I would want to know more statistics of how, like when you buy piracy, how it affects you, not like you personally, but how it affects iTunes or how it affects the other producers of music. That's about it.
Okay. I'd agree with a lot of the things that you said. Let's start with that last thing. I think that is, in fact, maybe the weak part of the argument, that you could develop a little bit more some of the consequences of this kind of piracy to artists, especially since nobody's going to be bleeding for the record companies. I think you're not going to get a lot of empathy on those kinds of things. But look, if this is a band that you support, and this band can't survive because people are getting the free music, if you had any examples of bands that have had those kinds of problems, people who've had to maybe abandon the music field in order just to feed themselves, because even though they're committed to doing this and this is what they want to do, they weren't able to sustain themselves because all their music is never getting paid for in some way, I think that would be kind of productive. There are stories out there about those kinds of bands, and bands that have had success, but they can't keep going because they're just not generating revenue, largely because record sales have collapsed. And I think you could build up a little bit more empathy like that. And especially if you had a personal band that you could relate to that way, that would make it a little bit more engaging and